Alright, hello everybody, welcome to another video today. My name is Chris, and today we're going to be going over all of the Rite Aid store closings as of Thursday, August 22nd, 2024. So, we have the Rite Aid store in Algan, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Almont, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Ann Arbor, Michigan, two Rite Aid stores in Ann Arbor Mills, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Beaverton, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Berkeley, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Burn Springs, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Bloomfield Hills, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Bridgeport, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Butchand, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Caledonia, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Syro, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Carson City, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Cassopolis, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Cedar Springs, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Trovox, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Chesterfield, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Silo, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Colma, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Commerce Township, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Coopersville, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Dearborn, total of 2. A total of 4 Rite Aid stores in Detroit, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in DeWitt, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Downegg, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Durand, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in East Jordan, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in 2 Rite Aid stores in East Lansing, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Eaton Rapids, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Farmington Hills, total of 2, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Farwell, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Ferndale, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Flat Rock, Michigan, 3 Rite Aid stores in Flint, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Frankenmuth, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Goldwood, Michigan, 2 Rite Aid stores in Grand Block, Michigan, 2 Rite Aid stores in Grand Rapids, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Grant, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Hartford, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Hazlet, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Highland Charter Township, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Holland, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Holly, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Holt, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Huntington Lake, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Huntington Woods, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Malaya City, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Ithaca, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Jackson, Michigan, total of 2, the Rite Aid store in Kalamazoo, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Calsaka, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Kego Harbor, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Larbertville, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Lewiston, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Lenovia, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Macomb, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Marshall, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Marysville, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Massoon, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Manitomoria, Michigan, 2 Rite Aid stores in Mount Morris, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Mount Pleasant, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Oak Park, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Oak Holmes, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Ortonville, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Osodina, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Otisville, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Oxford, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Perry, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Pinckney, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Plymouth, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Pontiac, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Port Huron, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Portage, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Red City, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Richmond, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Riverview, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Rochester Hills, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Rockford, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Rockwood, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Rogers City, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Roscommon, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Royal Oak, Michigan, 3 Rite Aid stores in Saginaw, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Sandusky, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Sparta, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in St. Helen, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in St. Clair Shores, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Standish, Michigan, 2 Rite Aid stores in Sterling Heights, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Swartz Creek, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Squaw City, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Vassar, Michigan, 2 Rite Aid stores in Warren, 3 Rite Aid stores in Warren, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in Washington, Michigan, total of 2, the Rite Aid store in Waterford, Michigan, the Rite Aid store in West Bloomfield, Michigan, and the Rite Aid store in Yeshapalanti, Michigan. Then we have the Rite Aid store in Adden, Ohio, the Rite Aid store in Akron, Ohio, the Rite Aid store in Archbold, Ohio, the Rite Aid store in Bear Benton, Ohio, the Rite Aid store in Belpier, Ohio, the Rite Aid store in Candice, Ohio, the Rite Aid store in Canal Fulton, Ohio, the Rite Aid store in Canton, Ohio, the Rite Aid store in Carlton, Ohio, the Rite Aid store in Centerville, Ohio, the 2 Rite Aid stores in Cleveland, Ohio, the Rite Aid store in Clyde, Ohio, the Rite Aid store in Clumbani, Ohio, the Rite Aid store in Conedo, Ohio, the Rite Aid store in Crestline, Ohio, the Rite Aid store in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio, 2 Rite Aid stores in Dayton, Ohio, the Rite Aid store in Del Fuss, Ohio, the Rite Aid store in Annan, Ohio, the Rite Aid store in Findlay, Ohio, the Rite Aid store in Fosseteria, Ohio, the Rite Aid store in Fredericktown, Ohio, the Rite Aid store in Gallon, Ohio, the Rite Aid store in Grattsville, Ohio, the Rite Aid store in Gianna, Ohio, the Rite Aid store in Greenfield, Ohio, the Rite Aid store in Holland, Ohio, the Rite Aid store in Keering, Ohio, the Rite Aid store in Lexington, Ohio, the Rite Aid store in Lima, Ohio, the Rite Aid store in Lima, total of, I guess, 3 or 4. The Rite Aid store in Libsyn, Ohio. 2 Rite Aid stores in Mansfield, Ohio. The Rite Aid store in Maumee, Ohio. The Rite Aid store in Medina, Ohio. The Rite Aid store in Mineria, Ohio. The Rite Aid store in New Carlisle, Ohio. The Rite Aid store in New Lebanon, Ohio. The Rite Aid store in Newton Falls, Ohio. The Rite Aid store in Oak Harbor, Ohio. The Rite Aid store in Oryville, Ohio. The Rite Aid store in Ottawa, Ohio. The Rite Aid store in Parama, Ohio. The Rite Aid store in Palbing, Ohio. The Rite Aid store in Palmery, Ohio. The Rite Aid store in Port Clinton, Ohio. The Rite Aid store in Rittman, Ohio. The Rite Aid store in Rossford, Ohio. The Rite Aid store in Russell's Point, Ohio. The Rite Aid store in Shelby, Ohio. The Rite Aid store in Strongville, Ohio. The Rite Aid store in Sylvania, Ohio. A total of, it looks to be 6 in Toledo, Ohio. The Rite Aid store in Vandalia, Ohio. The Rite Aid store in Vermilion, Ohio. The Rite Aid store in Wadsworth, Ohio. The Rite Aid store in Warren, Ohio. The Rite Aid store in Washun, Ohio. The Rite Aid store in Waynesburg, Ohio. The Rite Aid store in Wellsville, Ohio. The Rite Aid store in Willard, Ohio. The Rite Aid store in Woodsfield, Ohio. And the Rite Aid store in Zanesville, Ohio. So those are all of the Rite Aid stores that are closing as of Thursday, August 22nd, 2024. And this entire list from SB360 Capital Partners LLC will be in the video description below. I want to sincerely thank you guys for watching, and that will be it.